everybody. I am so excited about our sponsor for this month, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing wonderful.
That is so awesome. You know, the Gillette Home Team is doing so much in real estate. Give us a snapshot of what you're up to.
Awesome. Well, last year we were able to help 551 families either buy or sell real estate. We love our community. We love our clients. Our mission is to deliver the keys to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. And we're looking to help even more folks this year.
That is so awesome. You know, if you want a team that is there for you, is the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. And thanks so much, Laura, for your sponsorship. Hey, good morning. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited. We love Wednesday mornings, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. How are you doing, Scott?
Man, I'm doing great. I was awake early again this morning, and I was thinking about a friend of mine had posted a request. He goes, I need an aggressive alarm clock. And there was all kinds of examples with loud bells and flashing lights and klaxon horns. No shortage. Of course, my response to him was, you need an alarm clock that gets you into bed 7 to 8 hours before you want to wake up.
It's interesting because I'm the kind of guy, I think I've told you before, I don't need an alarm clock. My head just wakes me up. So, which is good. I don't have to rely on that. I never have. I just wake up when it's time, and that's a blessing. I know everybody's not like that, but
No.
yeah.
Hey, I want to say one thing too about Laura's office. I love that sign she has behind her that says, "Go the extra mile. It's never crowded."
Well, because, you know, I think she is the key to going the extra mile. I mean, her team, the whole, you know, Keller Williams organization, but her Gillette Home Team is fabulous. And you know that she is, like, in the country, one of the leading real estate brokers and teams in the entire U.S. So she's doing awesome. Out of Little Lebanon, Oregon.
Fabulous, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful?
It is great. Well, listen, you and I could chat all day, but we're going to bring in our first guest today and make sure, hopefully, AJ's had his coffee. You know, AJ, I got to tell you, AJ Wilcox, we were just chatting the other day. He's lacking energy a little bit, and I think that AJ needs a little bit. So come on, AJ.
I tell everyone I came out of the womb pre-caffeinated. Like I'm not a coffee drinker, and like this is how I am 100% of the time. So sorry for anyone that this comes off a little bit too much.
Yes. Well, you know, back in the day when I had hair and it was more reddish blonde, we could have been in the same family because I pretty much came out of my mother pre-caffeinated as well. You know, usually what I get mostly, my wife was kidding me the other day because my mom would always say, Russell, calm down. Shh, it's okay. Inside voice, you know? And so people still say, my wife still says that to me. It's okay, honey. Just take it easy. Well, listen,
we don't need you that way. We're good with you. We are.
I love your energy, AJ, and I want you to tell us a little bit about LinkedIn ads and all that you're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So my long story made incredibly short. I ran the world's largest LinkedIn ads account. After seeing how well it did for about 2.5 years, I decided to start my own agency because this couldn't be the only one company that was going to have incredible success with LinkedIn ads. And so this has been just over 6 years. I've run an agency called b2links.com, and we only specialize in LinkedIn ads. It's the one trick pony that I'm proud to be riding. And been doing some really cool stuff. The ad platform has been just growing by leaps and bounds. We have like 12 or more different ad formats you can choose. We've got like 29, maybe above 30 now, different targeting facets that you can use to go after your ideal customer. So anyway, it's a nice green field to be plowing in.
You mean we should have an ideal customer?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea.
Well, Scott's always good on that.
Well, I love that you've focused in on this, and you know, our buddy John Nemo, the LinkedIn dude, man, as he always says, the riches are in the niches.
Oh yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. When I think about starting my own agency, early on in my career, I focused on search engine optimization and Google ads and building websites. And I'm certain that if I would have tried to start an agency that did any of those things, even if it was a deep specialty, I would not have been able to stand out. But because I went after a niche of LinkedIn ads that no one cared about, no one had ever heard before, that allowed me to actually sprint forward and gain a foothold. So I'm a big proponent of riches are in the niches.
Well, I think it's interesting because LinkedIn, a couple of years ago, I was not a huge fan, and I have just grown into thinking it's the greatest thing around. LinkedIn is such a great place to connect, place to talk to all sorts of business people, all different industries, including people in the medical industry, people writing children's books like Ken Korb, our next guest. Ken's in the house. How's it going, Ken?
Hey, how's life treating you in the Pacific Northwest? Good to be here.
Yes, we are good. A little chilly, right, Scott?
Yeah, but we said that the great thing about living in the Northwest is that for the most part, the weather isn't trying to kill you.
That's a good point.
Like it is here. Yeah.
Hey, Ken,
so you're in Chicago area.
Yes, and because it's February in Chicago, that means it's about 10 degrees outside. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Way too cold. Way too cold. Well, hey, Ken, before you give us a little bit about you, I just wanted to remind everybody, we love for people to interact. Throw your comments in the chat. Let us know you're here. Tell us where you're at. If you're watching this on replay, let us know that. And we just love to be able to interact live with people. I'm sure we're going to be overloaded with friends of AJ and Ken that are ready to watch them live. So anyway, Ken, tell us a little bit about, you've come from the medical industry and now you're writing children's books. Tell us about that.
So it's a pivot for me as a business owner now, entrepreneur. I was 20 years in healthcare delivery as a PA in cardiology, surgery, and then most recently outpatient care, blood pressure, and then we were always searching for a way to extend that 10-minute office visit, right? So that's always been the challenge from the healthcare side. So I came up with this idea of musical adventures of grace, through a long story. That has then grown to have each of the characters write their own little stories about patient education and things that the next generation of kids need to know, like brushing their teeth and not eating salt and not eating sugar and obesity issues, and framing it in a way that's friendly and non-confrontational, but yet health literacy centric for a 3 to 6 year old. So there's no need for adult conversations.
I was so grateful to see these books because we met last year at the New York Toy Fair, just literally a couple of weeks before the world changed. And we were there at the Javits Center, and Bill Southard's booth there, or his room, bringing through the different folks. And you had the books. And I don't know, we just really connected well there. And then, as I say, about 2 weeks later, after we left the Javits Center, it stopped doing trade shows, and became an infirmary because New York was like the epicenter of COVID. Right. And then, but because you're also a medical professional, you're writing these books, then what happened?
Well, the COVID pandemic lockdown was, in a way for me, and I was getting feedback from my parent customers that they were having trouble trying to communicate with the youngest people in their families about what this whole COVID thing was about, right? So I said, well, maybe there's an opportunity there to kind of create something for the kids to make it stick and make it relevant to them in a way that's fun. So Grace Fights COVID-19 became an entity, and the Musical Bug Squad was a way to kind of engage kids about this whole coronavirus thing and why they couldn't see their friends and why they couldn't go to school and why they had to wash their hands and why they had to wear a mask. We put that into this little book that made it help make sense to them and gave parents a tool for conversation, which was important.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important because the whole COVID thing this last year has affected us all in many ways. It's been a really, there's been a lot of blessings out of it, a lot of good things that we've been able to do online and learn and grow through all the challenges. And, we definitely have had our struggles and challenges for sure. AJ, how has it affected your industry this last year?
Well, it was really interesting that we actually lost about 40% of our clients. They all kind of went on pause all within a 2-week period. And so I was kind of scared. When I first graduated from college, I graduated in 2007, 2008, when kind of the last crisis was going on. So this was my first time running a business and going through a crisis all at the same time. I feel like I got really lucky though, because after about 3 months of it being a little bit dead, it was almost like someone flipped a switch and said, okay, well, the pandemic's going to keep going, but we've still got to go back to business as usual. And we ended up getting so many more clients coming to us, especially those who had only been doing trade shows and went, without trade shows, we have this whole budget that we need to put, and we know it needs to go into digital. So we're better and stronger than ever.
Trade shows are so expensive. When you start thinking about the booth space and the time away and the travel and just the physical wear and tear on your employees, 50, 100, 200,000 per trade show is not uncommon, or more. Some of these companies, but for smaller companies, it's easy $50,000. And I would imagine that if I was going to give you a $50,000 budget for LinkedIn, we could probably do some pretty good damage, eh?
Yeah, it would be a pretty fantastic budget for LinkedIn. The cool part about any sort of digital marketing that you can do, any sort of digital advertising, you can put limits on it. You can say, I only want to spend this much per day or this much per month. And here is a very, very narrow subsegment of people I want to show ads to. And if you're above or below that or outside of that, you don't see it. And so it's really a great place to spend time when you've come from trade shows where you just have to talk to every person who comes by the booth and you don't know who they are.
Well, I think that everybody has definitely had to reevaluate, look at how they're doing things. And as Ken, as you have been, being able to reach out through this book, what do you do as far as getting that out to people so that it's effective?
So I'm fortunate to have a publisher. So Eckert's Press here in Chicago is my mainstay, and they guide the whole process for me. So I don't have to watch it so closely from that perspective. But I do have a website. So, there's centerforfunctionallearning.com is my nonprofit site where we distribute the books. Through the commercial efforts of my publisher and then the nonprofit side, we're able to generate revenue that helps pay the bills. So that's kind of how we have it set up as an operational model at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have a publisher and somebody doing some of that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and AJ, you also do a lot of, I know you're on podcasts, you're on different live shows. So there's a lot of learning. I mean, I've learned a lot by watching what you're involved in.
Well, thank you. I'm glad someone's getting something out of it.
So you want to tell us a little bit more about what you're doing there, AJ?
Yeah. When I very first started the company, like I said, over 6 years ago, I realized as being an agency owner, I have to get the word out somehow. And I'm a terrible salesperson. So I realized I could either try to get better at sales, or I could just do what I do best, which is marketing, which is, sharing. And so I went to work, and anytime I could partner with someone on a webinar, or anytime I could be a guest on their podcast, or anytime I could somehow partner or leverage their already built audience to help get the word out and just help share, help provide value, I knew that would come back. And yeah, over the last 6 years, I've spoken on over 100 stages, and I've been a guest on over 180 podcasts. And at this point, maybe I have gotten a little bit better at sales, but but most of what I've done is just provide value, and that's been a really good thing for the business.
Yeah, I think that people are looking for value and looking for somebody to give them, in your industry, information that they don't understand themselves. And I think that it's been a huge benefit, especially in this last year, of all of the podcasts and live shows, and all the things that are going on, and being able to do that. I mean, that's a great way to get the word out. And I'm sure, Ken, you've been really active in doing different things as far as your book as well.
And Ken, you have a unique perspective too, because you're working with a publicity firm with Southard, and a lot of people, I think, don't understand what that means and what kind of benefits you get from working with a company like that.
Yeah. Oh, aside from AJ being my new best friend, I need to. I can say that having a resource and expertise like Southard and Bill and his team for our latest book is a godsend, because I mean, that's just one thing that's not on my to-do list, right? Or in this case, it's probably 20 things that are not on my to-do list, and having a public relations community outreach firm that has expertise in children's books and toys and parents and target audiences like that is huge for me as a small business owner. We're just grateful, that they brought us on as a client, and even though we're very, very small as a baby brand.
And what kind of things do they do? What is it that happens with a PR firm?
Well, in my experience, it's been great. They do the initial press release, media launch for any new products that come out. There's an ongoing drumbeat that they push my product out to influencers out there that do the podcasts, and they review the books for me in certain situations. There's a lot of, like I said before, expertise with media contacts. So places like, Good Morning America and radio interviews and print-based interviews and local TV and newspapers. And I mean, they are the ones that have that network where I would never be able to have access to that as a business owner, or in my case, as coming from the healthcare world. This is a whole different world for me.
And I can tell you that kind of stuff pays. I was involved with another startup. I don't know if I told you about, but Pajagle was the company, and we were a physical board game, and we were selling on Amazon. So I would always get these little notifications saying, "Oh, you sold another one on Amazon."
Yeah.
And one morning I woke up, and it's just bing, 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 and like, what happened? Well, it was early June, getting ready for the summer travel season. And our game got picked up on, I think it was Good Morning America or the Today Show. I think it was Good Morning America, as they had 5 games that you could take with your kids while you were traveling. And ours was number 5. And as soon as it came up, people are on Amazon going, how do I buy this thing? Where do I buy it? And so it's amazing what happens when you get on that type of platform.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that, I have other people doing the work that I need to do. That's always helpful.
Well, yeah, especially people that specialize, when you have people that specialize in that and are able to, be there for you, because a lot of us, like myself, learning as we go, because we're doing it on our own. And so if it wasn't people for like D. Scott Smith that are so helpful, that's right. How much I appreciate him. So, and Scott has been doing his networking boot camp this week. Want to give a little plug for that, Scott?
Well, that's been fun. Yeah. So, so those of us that are solo entrepreneurs, freelance professionals, and small business owners, we have really a limited capacity, a finite capacity on how many customers we can serve. Paid advertising is great for some businesses, but for those of us that really only need a few clients every month or dozens of, not hundreds, leaning into your network is a great way to do that. And so I'm running this boot camp to help you find the gold in your network. So Monday through Thursday this week at 2 p.m. Pacific, I'm running a boot camp, and we're going through and we looked at, first of all, man, you already have a great network. And then we looked at how you take get your actual contacts downloaded from LinkedIn. And today we're actually going to go through and find, how do you go through, AJ, I don't know how many contacts you have on LinkedIn. I've got like 2,300. I would think you've got a lot more than that. But I can tell you, I don't know 2,300 people, but following Dunbar's rule, about 100 to 150 people are actually giving me business. And so that's what we're going to do today in the boot camp.
Okay. The sound of silence. That's because you're so descriptive and you give it all to us in one good shot. So, I am just so blessed to be able to interact and meet with all of you because of what we've been going through in this last year. And I wanted to talk about, we're talking about networking and Scott's Boot Camp and all that. Really networking and connection is what blossoms and really creates the community we work with in our business, right? I'm sure, AJ, when you first started off, you're young, you're starting, you're building that community. And obviously through LinkedIn was a great place to start and really move that and network through that.
Yeah. Well, and sorry, I totally missed my cue there. I had all these thoughts. So D. Scott, what you said is totally accurate. There is so much gold on LinkedIn right now. The piece that maybe not everyone understands or knows is that on pretty much any other network, you've got to fight to get people to see your content. But on LinkedIn, there's a pretty big imbalance. It's 100% of people need content in their feeds when they log in, but only 4% of people are creating content. So
Wow.
Yeah. So what happens is anytime that someone hits like, comment, or share on one of your posts, it then becomes eligible to be seen by their network. And so now you have connections of your connections seeing your stuff. It's the easiest network in the world to go viral on. And on Dunbar's number, like you talked about, if you're looking for just 2 or 3 clients a year, because these are high value targets and very, very deep interaction with them, you don't need ads. In fact, you could probably just be valuable and share all the time, and you'll have 150 people who are doing the buying.
And the math works like this. So if I have 150 people and I share, so if I'm one of the 4% of people that share a post and 150 people see it and they like it, they have 150 people. That's 22,500 people that it reaches. If they share it and get to another 150 people each, that's 3,375,000 people. This for those of you who are doing the math at home.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So your network has some incredible reach, right? Those 150 people have direct experience with you. The 22,500 people have firsthand experience with you, and that 3,375,000 people have credible experience of working with you.
Well, it's kind of like compound interest. One thing and that's what, what is so important is not only letting it compound on its own, but as we reach out and use avenues like LinkedIn, like children's books, like all the things that we're doing, and we individually connect on top of that. A big reason why, AJ and Ken, that I wanted to talk to you guys ahead of time, because I love to individually connect with people, make it more than just a mathematical equation. By the way, I'm going to say that math has never been my thing. And last night we were watching that show about the women in the NASA. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Hidden Figures.
Yep.
There you
Hidden
go.
Figures,
Oh my goodness. Great movie. I've seen it several times, but every time I watch her do all that math, I think, my brain does not even come close to working that way. But an inspiring movie all the same. Anyway, so Ken, what is I know that you have more books in the future. What's your plan coming up here in 2021?
Sustainability. No, it's So the latest book that we have out on the shelves is Grace's Rock and Roll Adventure. So that's the direct Southern connection that we talked about earlier. The cool thing for me is that it gave me an opportunity to actually have a celebrity as a new character. So Stevie Van Zandt is in that storybook as the guy that gives Grace her first electric guitar. So the idea of bringing rock and roll into Grace's universe now is going to be fun. The other piece of that is that we're partnering with the Rock and Roll Forever Foundation, and we created a lesson plan surrounding that storybook. So the teachers can use that book as an entree for first graders and kindergarten kids about the world of rock and roll. Plus, hey, by the way, we're helping you learn how to read. And we're giving you music vocabulary, and Grace is going to talk about brushing your teeth in another book, that you can get next week. So, I mean, we have that link now that we didn't have last year, and I don't know where it's going to go. There's a whole opportunity there about the world of rock and roll, but we're going to keep doing anything that's related to young children, in terms of their health. There'll be spin-off stories associated with that. We're going to partner with a chef to do clean cooking for kids. There's any kind of subject matter that's related to kids' health. We're looking to teach the next generation because, all of us here are, beyond hope in terms of our health and wellness. So it's smarter to go to the next generation and make them smarter about things. And if you can do it with children's books, that's even better, right? So there's a win-win.
I love it, Ken.
Yeah, it's a fun way to do that. So AJ, what do you have coming up here in 2021? What are we looking at?
Oh man, I want to live my life vicariously through Grace. Ken, just get me in there with her. She has a really interesting life.
We'll make you a character.
I don't know if I would sell very well. But what I have going on, we just hired a sales team. We hired a CFO. We've tripled the size of our account management team over the last 4 months. So we're on a tear. I'm really, really excited. But we've come out with bulk management tools to help people who do a lot of LinkedIn ads do it a lot more efficiently than you could do in the platform. I've got some speaking engagements coming up that I'm really excited about. So all in all, that's kind of what my future looks like. Nothing new or exciting, and I'm not teaching kids how to be better people. but I'm having fun and
hey, you have your own kids though, right?
That's true. Yeah, I've got 4 kiddos that if I can influence their lives, we're good.
So before we let you go, well, we all go. How do people get in touch with you, AJ, to find out more about what you're doing?
If you go to our website, b2linked.com, pretty easy to just fill out a form on any of those pages. But if you're on LinkedIn, wink, wink, go just search for AJ Wilcox on LinkedIn and just customize your invite. So I know that you heard me on D. Scott and Russ's show. Then I'd love to connect with you.
Perfect. And Ken, we have a question for you and need to find out how to find out more about you. But Helen wants to know, how does she find your book?
Helen, thank you. Well, there's 2 ways. Eckertz Press, ECKHARTZ press.com is the publisher site. You can go to my nonprofit, centerforfunctionallearning.com, as another way of looking at my background and the online store for the books. Or if you're interested in Grace's rock and roll story specifically, go to teachrock.org/Grace, and it'll bring you right up to the page and the press release about Stevie Van Zandt and his role in pushing out rock and roll to younger kids in elementary schools.
And I love how you came up with the name, with her name.
Yeah, that's a whole nother hour. But in a 15-second soundbite. So it all started. My son's in music. He's a music educator, and I asked him what a grace note was. One winter break when he came home from school, he explained it, that it was an inconsequential note that sometimes colors a orchestral piece for the conductor. And I said, "Oh my God, a little note that wanted to be a big note." Right. So it was kind of like an underdog story. And that's how we started with Grace. Musical Adventures of Grace was a grace note being turned into a young, sassy girl, tween-age girl during a holiday concert. And then that was the winter story. And then spring came, and then summer came, and now we're doing all the spin-offs. So I have 10 titles now that are published. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Life is good. Life is good.
Great. Absolutely crazy, huh? How
Yeah.
serendipity steps in.
Well, it's amazing the things that are possible in this world today. And I'm just so thankful through networking connection, through all the opportunities, even in the midst of COVID, that we've all been able to get together. And I really appreciate both you guys. I mean, it's been so great getting to know you and all that you're doing, and we're going to stay in touch. And, I just appreciate everything you're doing. So I'm going to send the two of you out. Hang tight, though. And we'll see you in just a moment. Thanks so much for coming.
AJ, thank you so much. So great to have you guys on the experience today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. And Ken, so great to get to meet you.
Yeah, very fun.
All right.
Rock and roll.
Hey, well, we're all music people, gotta love music, right? Oh my goodness.
There's something different about music, right? It affects us at a very deep level beyond the point where we have the capacity to express in words.
Yeah, it does. Well, and I think that maybe even now more than ever, in all that everybody's been going through, that music's been a really blessing for people, because it's something that people find, like you said, solitude and peace. And just introspection, as to what is going on in life. So anyway, well, Scott, as always, it's awesome. You're awesome.
Well, hey, and we got a couple of things coming up. One of them is right after this show on Clubhouse, right?
That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot. Yes, so excited. Now, if you join us after this on Clubhouse, I want to remind you, don't laugh if I'm still trying to figure it out, because I put together our Clubhouse meeting, but it's there, and we're going to
It's the after party. It's the Clubhouse after party.
Woohoo. Yeah. And so it is going to be at the top of the hour at 8:00. And also, just want to remind you that if you didn't get in on Scott's networking boot camp, I'm sure that you can still see the replays, get in touch with him. You can definitely connect with him and get information.
You have the banner there for our connection, russhedge.com. We can learn more about what Russ has got going on at russhedge.com. And then you can learn about the boot camp at dscottsmith.com.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because this entire time we've been talking, I didn't run our little thing there at the bottom that shows that exact information. And, I was thinking, AJ and Ken, who are not here right now, they're watching me from the green room. You're teaching me a lesson, because I should have had your contact information on there as well. So, it's all live and learn. It's live, kind of like my phone going off in the beginning of the show.
And you see, we got the Global Tea Break coming up the third Friday of every month. And so I've got my mug here for the Global Tea Break. And that's 3 p.m. GMT, 7 a.m. in the Pacific time zone, and 10 for those on the eastern side of the North American continent.
Yeah, that is such a blessing. People, speaking of the Global Tea Break, look who's here. Alan Hennessy. Good to see Alan, the other half of the Global Tea Break. Scott and Alan put that together about a year ago, and talk about blessings and connections worldwide. If you are not part of the Global Tea Break, you need to tune in. It's a
great community of people there to help each other. We started in February last year, so we've made the complete loop around the sun. We are back to where we started. We started about a month before the world changed. And we need each other more than ever.
More than ever. And Helen's asking, I think she's asking about information on that. And Helen, it just went by. globalteabreak.com is where to find information on the Global Tea Break. So if that was your question, if not, Helen, you can give me a call and ask me what your question was.
In the networking bootcamp, dscottsmith.com, you can go there and register the sessions. So we did Monday, Tuesday. Those are recorded. You can watch those, and then we'll be live today and tomorrow, and all those sessions will be available until noon on Sunday.
Right. And I'm just going to reiterate one more time because they sent it to me in the private chat. I'm not fast enough to put this on a ticker, guys. Sorry. When I get better at this, I will. But Ken at centerforfunctionallearning.com. That's how you get hold of Ken Korber again. Ken at centerforfunctionallearning.com. And also, no, I guess that Ken just put in his other stuff. techrock.org/grace for the books. techrock.org/grace. And so there you go. And just go to LinkedIn and type in AJ Wilcox and you'll find him.
Yeah, you'll find him there.
He's famous. He's famous on there. So anyway.
Hey, it is always an experience with you,
Oh
Russ.
my goodness. Yes, it is.
With Ken and AJ, what a fabulous day.
And we're going to tie things up for today. Don't forget the after party on Clubhouse. There you go.
Clubhouse.
Right. Clubhouse. And we are so glad for all of you tuning in. Remember, if you're tuning in on replay, type #replay and just give us a comment. So glad that you can still see this even after we're done. So until we see you again, which is next Wednesday.
One more thing.
Pacific Standard Time.
There is a Experience Plus coming up.
Oh, thank you, man. It's a good thing I have you, Scott, because I would forget all this stuff. Tomorrow night, it's night for us, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. We have a special, The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. So tune into that 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. We have a special, The Experience, with two of our good friends, Stephen and Donna Fry from Australia. And they have been on last year in 2020 on an incredible connection journey with at least one person new, meeting and one person new every day the entire year. And they met a lot more per day, but that was their minimum. Very inspiring and exciting stories. So that's tomorrow. Stephen and Donna Fry on The Experience special. Did I forget
All right.
anything else, Scott?
Now we can wind it up. Join us over on Clubhouse. We'll
Okay.
talk more.
All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Cheers.